What if I told you that there is one answer to all of your business problems and making more money? There's a reason you clicked on this video, and I will make it worth your time, I promise you. So I'm going to tell you what that answer is. And before I tell you that answer, I'm going to tell you three quick things that are also holding you back and have held me back so much in the past, but I figured out a few things and they lead up to this major one answer. So I don't want you to skip this part because all of it works together. If you're not familiar with me, you don't know why I should be telling you anything. My name is Arlan. 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, I was homeless. I was sleeping on the floor of an airport. I was hungry. And since then, I've gone on to invest in more than 200 companies. And I also have generated millions of dollars for myself and for other people. And I figured things out. I'm in my mid 40s right now. So it took me a while to figure some things out. And so what I do now on YouTube is I wake up every day thinking about how can I help other people find the solutions that I found and get closer to their time freedom, their financial freedom, all the options in the world, because I wish I had these answers 10 years ago. And we have so many tools that we didn't have 10 years ago that I want you to know about. So the tools and the guidance, that's what I'm here for. So watch this whole video and really try to tie these things together. So the first, like there's a big answer for sure. But first I want to tell you three small answers. And they're important. The first one is you're probably not charging enough for your service or for your product. If that hits you in the gut, there's a reason, okay? You probably charged less for your product, either because you don't think that you're worthy of charging more or ready to charge more, or because you think if you charge less, more people can afford it. And therefore, you're serving more people and the people that you want to be able to afford it. You don't want to be elitist. That's how you're thinking about it. And that has so much merit to it. But let me tell you, coming from someone who did this for most of my life, that's why I was broke. Because I'm trying to serve more people, so I charge less. But then the people that can't afford me still can't afford the smaller amount. And then there are not enough people who can afford it. And it's not enough capital to keep you going. Therefore, you can't serve anyone because you run out of money. But instead, if you charge what you were worth, if you charge the value of the offer to people who can afford it, you'd make enough money and then you'd be able to do whatever you'd like with everyone else. You'd also be able to teach the people who cannot afford it how to afford you. Do you see what I mean? Like right now, I charge a lot of money to people who can afford it. And then I get to go on YouTube and for free give out information to anyone who can, get on the internet. That is like this big breakthrough. This could have been 4 videos, honestly, because that is a big breakthrough that has changed everything for me. And you're probably undercharging. So you want to figure out what is the value of the transformation that you're giving rather than what you think your time is worth or what you think people can afford. What is the transformation worth? The second thing that leads up to the big answer is that most people think that they have to have a large audience. Like that's probably the number one, maybe the one or second, first or second question I get is like, I don't have anybody who knows me. I don't have an audience like you do. Well, listen, first of all, I do have an audience. I have at this time more than 135,000 YouTube subscribers alone. I have a bunch on, 350,000 on Instagram, etc. But the 100,000 people who subscribed to my channel in the past 8 months did not know me from Adam. They found me on YouTube, and YouTube is something that you have access to for free to start your own channel. And I could go for miles with that topic because I teach it. But I'm saying to you that you do not have to have a large audience and that there are ways to reach more people that were not available to us just a few years ago. So there is no excuse really. You may be starting from scratch, but you don't have to stay there. And if you are not starting from scratch, you have such an edge. Let me tell you, if you have any points on board already, any experience, any customers you've already served, any frameworks that you teach, any of that, you are so far ahead that you can just turn that and blow that up with just a few audience members seeing it. Because it's not about thousands of followers. You're not trying to be Mr. Beast. You're not trying to uh, be the people who have millions of followers and making a ton of money that way. I know a lot of people who have millions of followers who don't make a lot of money. And they actually come to me because they see me making a lot of money with fewer followers than they have, especially back in the day. And they're like, how is that mathing? And I'm like, there's very specific ways. In fact, actually, I wrote this book. I have two books out on major publishers, and I have this book. So one of them is Your First Million. The other one is It's About Damn Time. But I just released this book independently, Arlan's Revenue Playbook, to teach exactly how you get your audience, what you do with the audience, and then how do you make a lot of money with a smaller audience. Like that is like the sweet spot, the pocket, right? So there are ways, believe me. If you go to arlansrevenueplaybook.com, you can pick that book up. Okay, now the third piece is people are waiting for perfection rather than getting out there and putting their offer out into the world. I've talked to a few people recently who have like really, really great offers, whether it's a physical product or a digital product or a service, and they're not out. And I'm like talking to them, like maybe a few weeks later, I talk to them again and it's still not out. And I'm like, what are you waiting on? And they'll tell me some version of, I need to work on it more so it'll be better. It'll be a bit better product. But what you don't understand, or what you may not realize, I should say, is that if you don't put it out into the world, you don't get this incredibly valuable feedback in real time that will help you know if you're on the right track. Because you can work for like weeks or months or even years in some cases that I find unfortunate on something and then put it out into the market and it falls flat. Instead, you could put out something half baked and it doesn't have to be poor quality. It's just something that you're like, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to put it out there and see what happens. You get a few people to see it. You hear questions about it. Those questions or those statements coming back to you help you refine it very quickly. And you refine the offer based on that. And you've just shortcutted by weeks or months or even more. And you need that real gritty feedback to reach to make the diamond. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we're scared of that. We're scared of, like, if we're in research and development mode, we're safe, we're in a cocoon. We don't have to hear bad feedback. But I promise you, the one of the things that has helped me so much has been bad feedback. Because then if I get bad feedback or any type of feedback, I can make it better faster. And then when I make it better faster, because there was already something there, I wasn't just throwing out anything. I put out something that I cared about. Then I could immediately act on it, make it better, and then sell even more or offer even more or convert even more, right? Now, there's this main answer. I know you came here for this main answer. I'm going to tell you. Before I tell you, I'm doing a big experiment and it is going so well so far. So I want to keep it going. Okay. So if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and watching my videos. I hope that you're getting a lot of value out of them, especially if you made it this far in this video. I know that you are. And let's keep doing that, because the more you watch, the more people come in and YouTube shows it to more people. If you are not yet subscribed, you watch my videos, but you just haven't subscribed yet, I'm doing this experiment where I'm asking you to subscribe. Even if this is your first day seeing me, subscribe, see if you like my videos. You could always unsubscribe later if you want to, but subscribe. And what I figured out over the past few months is that the more subscribers I get on a video, the more YouTube will send it out to people and put it on their homepage and other places on YouTube. And then the more impressions it gets and the more views it gets, people watch longer. And then it's like this flywheel that's never ending. So I did this in one video in a few weeks ago. And I just said this almost the exact thing, right? And because you subscribed, it was so amazing. It has more than 500,000 views. And it brought in like 25,000 new subscribers. And I just can't tell you how exciting and thrilling that is to know that more and more people can learn about it. But you don't want to miss out on these videos because I have these videos coming out all the time. So please hit the subscribe button. Now, the number one thing I want to tell you, and I want to remind you of this book because it's in this book. The number one thing that is going to help solve your biggest problems and going to help you make more money starting immediately. You ready? Let me know in the comments if you're ready for this. Okay, hear me out. It is to focus on one product service offer. Focus on one really good product service offer, and you can make it good by what? Doing what we said in that third piece, which is putting it out into the world, taking feedback, refining it, and so on. Focus on one until you reach a milestone that you make for yourself. And I promise you'll go so, so far with it. Most of us think that if we have more offers, if we have more courses and memberships and workbooks and workshops, and if we have all these different things, these 4 or 5 offers, we'll meet people where they are, and we talk about that. It's not to say that you shouldn't have multiple streams of income eventually, and that you shouldn't have multiple ways to reach people. I'm not saying that. You will see with me that I have both. What I'm saying is that for 7 years leading up to this, I focused on one thing day in and day out. And I got it so refined that it became a machine, it became automated. And you can spend the next 4 to 8 weeks just simply refining a product and an offer or a service, refining the offer itself, the process for people to find you, and then the onboarding and conversion of that. And you will make more money than you ever have before. What most people will do is hear this and they just won't do that. So if you can be the 1% that does it, that just tries it, if what you've tried in the past has not worked or it has worked for you, it's made you money, but it just won't scale. You just can't get anything to scale. It is because you have octopus arms. It is because you're doing the most. When you can put all of that energy into one thing, one offer, and say, okay, I won't do anything else until I make X amount of money from this, or if I have this many customers. There are people who do like tens of millions of dollars a year who say that they will not do a new offer unless they make $1 million from the one offer first. I'm not saying you have to do the 1 million. I'm just saying that you could make $1 million, focused in 1, 2, or 3 years if you focused on one offer. It is extremely difficult to do this because we don't want to miss out. We don't want to miss out on opportunity. We are entrepreneurs and creatives at heart, and we feel like time is running out for us. But I want you to think through what has been the most beneficial thing to you and what has been the most helpful to you in your career or in your entrepreneurship. It probably, if you break it down and analyze it, has to do with focus. It probably has to do with something getting refined over time. And then the people who became your customers telling other people about it because you gave it enough breathing room for them to do so. They bring people in either through word of mouth or an affiliate program or just naturally, authentically. They bring more people in, whether it's a physical product that you're selling or it's like you're consulting or it's your SaaS product, all of that. If you have a SaaS product or a product online, and you have 4 or 5 different options and tiers and things, see what would happen if you just focused in on one and you're like promoting one, you put all your marketing behind one. And this is for everything, right? One thing, put all your marketing behind it, put all your ideation behind it, put all your refining time behind it, all of your deep dive customer service and customer conversation time around it. When's the last time you reached out to 10 of your customers and said, what do you like most about what I offer and what would you change? If you took the time to do that, it would change everything for you. It's about focus. And I'm telling this from experience. What I was doing when I was broke was I was desperate and I needed anything to work. So I would just put out all these different things. And today you probably see, if you do know me, you probably say, oh my gosh, you have so much going. You have a sports league you co-founded. You have a water brand you've founded. You have a venture fund. You have entrepreneurial stuff. It's true. But what I do is, like I said, the 7 years for one thing, which was my venture fund, one thing, just hyper focused. And probably more than that, actually, if I think about it. Then I branched off into the next. And then I got to a certain degree with it. Millions of dollars were transacted before I went to the next thing. And that's how I can have a few things going at once because I'm hyper focused on one thing at a time. And when I get something to a certain degree, I put other people in place to run it. Does that make sense? So I'm just telling you directly what I tell people who pay me tens of thousands of dollars per year. My clients who do this, I'm telling you what I tell them. I'm advising you the way I advise them because this is what has worked for me. If you have been having trouble in the past, you can't scale, you can't grow, you're not making enough money, or you're making enough money, but you want to double, 10x, all of that, this is the way.